The NBA isn't just a league of elite athletes, it's a playground for unforgettable nicknames. From Black Mamba to Air Jordan, these names aren't handed out lightly. Sometimes it's about how they move on the court, other times it's about that unique flavor they bring to the game. These nicknames? They're more than just the tags. They are the stories behind the legends. Let's break down some of the famous nicknames of the NBA players. Michael Jordan, Air Jordan. When you think of basketball, one name immediately comes to mind, Michael Jordan. But did you know his most famous nickname, Air Jordan, wasn't just about his incredible ability to fly mid-air? Jordan could jump so high, it looked like he had springs in his shoes. He would hang in the air for what seemed like forever, while everyone else had already landed. Then just when you thought gravity would finally kick in, he would pull off a mind-blowing dunk or an impossible layup. But here is where it gets interesting. Jordan's longtime agent, David Falk, had a brilliant idea. Nike was courting Jordan, hoping to sign him a shoe deal. They were even considering giving him his own line of shoes and clothing, and now that was pretty much unheard of for a rookie back then. Falk, being the marketing genius he was, came up with the term Air Jordan. It was perfect. It captured Jordan's incredible aerial abilities, and it tied in nicely with Nike's new air cushion technology for their shoes. The Air Jordan brand took off like a rocket. Those shoes became the best-selling basketball sneakers in history, and Jordan? Well, he's now worth $2.1 billion, thanks in large part to that Nike partnership. Larry Bird, Larry Legend. Now let's talk about another basketball icon, Larry Bird. Known as Larry Legend, his story is one of hard work, determination, and exceptional skill. This guy from the small town of French Lick, Indiana, became one of the greatest players the game has ever seen. Not because of his raw athletic ability, but because of his insane work ethic and basketball IQ. So, how did he end up with one of the coolest nicknames in NBA history? Well, the name Larry Legend is quite self-explanatory. Because Bird's career was nothing short of legendary, we're talking about 3 consecutive MVP awards, 3 NBA championships, and 2 finals MVPs. The man was a walking basketball encyclopedia with the ability to see plays before they even happened. But it wasn't just his on-court performance that made him a legend. Bird was known for his trash talking and his clutch performances. He'd tell opponents exactly how he was going to score on them, and then he would go out and do it. That's the kind of confidence that turns a great player into a legend. LeBron James, King James. Next up, we've got the man, the myth, the legend, LeBron James. Now, LeBron's got a bunch of nicknames, but the one that's stuck with him throughout his career is King James. But have you ever wondered how a kid from Akron, Ohio ended up with such a huge title? Well, LeBron was crowned King James before he even set foot on an NBA court. That's right, this nickname goes back to his high school days. LeBron was so good, so dominant, that people were already calling him basketball royalty when he was still a teenager. But let's be real, LeBron has more than lived up to the hype. This guy's reign over the NBA has been nothing short of incredible. We're talking about a player who in his 20th season in the league was still averaging nearly 29 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists per game. LeBron's not just the king because of his scoring talent though, this guy does it all. He's the NBA's all-time leading scorer, sure, but he's also near the top in just about every statistical category you can think of. Points, rebounds, assists, steals, you name it. He's even 3rd all-time in three-pointers made in the playoffs, behind only Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. And let's be honest, when you think of LeBron, three-point specialist isn't exactly the first thing that comes to mind. But what really cements LeBron's status as King James is his longevity and consistency. We're talking about a guy who's been at the top of his game for 2 decades. 4 NBA championships, 4 MVP awards, 2 Olympic gold medals, the list goes on and on. Kobe Bryant, Black Mamba. Now, let's talk about one of the most intense, driven players the NBA has ever seen. Kobe Bryant, also known as the Black Mamba. But here's the thing, unlike most nicknames that are given to players, Kobe gave this one to himself. And the story behind it? Well, it's as intense as Kobe was on the court. It all started back in 2003. Kobe was going through a tough time in his personal life. He was facing some serious allegations off the court, but Kobe being Kobe didn't just curl up and hide. Instead, he created an alter ego for himself, the Black Mamba. Now, if you're wondering where he got the idea from, it was inspired by Quentin Tarantino's movie Kill Bill. In the film, the Black Mamba is the code name for a deadly assassin. Kobe saw this as the perfect metaphor for how he wanted to approach the game of basketball. You see, Kobe wanted to separate his life on the court from everything that was happening off it. When he stepped onto the hardwood, he wasn't Kobe Bryant with all his personal problems. He was the Black Mamba, cold-blooded, lethal, and unstoppable. As the years went by, the nickname stuck. Fans started calling him the Black Mamba. Commentators used it during games. It became a part of basketball culture. And Kobe? He embraced it fully, turning it into a brand, a symbol of excellence, and a pursuit of greatness. Wilt Chamberlain, the Big Dipper. Alright, let's now rewind the clock a bit and talk about one of the most dominant players in NBA history, Wilt Chamberlain. Now, Wilt had a few nicknames, but the one that really stuck was the Big Dipper. And trust me, this nickname has a story behind it that's as interesting as Wilt's legendary career. First off, you need to understand the physical traits of Chamberlain. We're talking about a guy who stood 7 feet 1 inch tall and had a wingspan of 2.34 meters, which made him look like he could touch both baskets at the same time. Now, you might think the nickname the Big Dipper was just about his height, right? Well, you'd be partially correct, but there is more to it than that. You see, Wilt had this habit of ducking his head when he went through doorways. Even though he could probably clear most doorways, he would always dip his head just to be safe. Hence, the Big Dipper. Now, let's talk about why Wilt was worthy of such a larger-than-life nickname. This guy's stats were out of this world. We're talking about someone who once scored 100 points in a single game. That's not a typo, 100 points! He averaged 50 points and 25 rebounds per game for an entire season. And in today's NBA, with the way the game is played now, we'll probably never see anything like them again. That's how dominant the Big Dipper was. Stephen Curry, Chef Curry. Last but not least, let's talk about the man who changed the way basketball is played in the modern era. Stephen Curry, nicknamed as Chef Curry. Now, you might be wondering, what does cooking have to do with basketball? First things first, let's talk about Steph's impact on the game. This guy revolutionized basketball with his incredible shooting range, and he's the reason why kids nowadays are launching shots from halfway across the court in their driveways. And the nickname Chef Curry didn't even come from a basketball player, it was the Canadian rapper Drake. You see, Drake and Steph are good friends, and in 2014, Drake dropped a song called 0 to 100, The Catch Up. And there's a line that goes, I've been Steph Curry with the shot, been cooking with the sauce, Chef Curry with the pot boy. And just like that, Chef Curry was born. The nickname spread like wildfire, and fans started using it. Commentators picked it up, and before you knew it, everyone was talking about how Curry was cooking on the court. But it didn't stop there. In 2014, Drake and Steph's wife, Aisha Curry, released a song called Chef Curry with the Pot. It was a fun, playful track that took the nickname to a whole new level. Suddenly, Chef Curry wasn't just a basketball nickname, it became a cultural phenomenon. And with this, we reached the end of today's video. Share your opinion, do let us know in the comment section below, and if you liked today's video, give us a thumbs up and do not forget to hit the subscribe button. Share this video with your friends and press the bell icon for more upcoming videos. We'll see you next time, stay tuned and take care.